Chapter 1. The Firstborn. In the year 2085 or 2120, it will happen. A child will be born inside a pressurized subterranean bunker beneath the red dust of Acidalia planitia, the first true Martian. The parents will look through the glass at their newborn, celebrating a historic milestone for the human species. The flags on their uniforms will read United States, China, or SpaceX. They will believe they have simply transplanted human civilization to a new world. They are dangerously wrong. Evolution is not a choice. It is an unyielding biological reaction to environment. On Earth, our anatomy was forged across hundreds of millions of years under 1.0 g gravity, a protective magnetosphere, and dense nitrogen-oxygen air. Mars offers none of these. Its gravity is just 38% of Earth's. Its surface is blasted by galactic cosmic rays. Its atmosphere is a razor-thin shroud of toxic carbon dioxide. By the time that first Martian child's great-great-great-grandchildren are born, 5 generations later, the human body will have undergone a radical, irreversible transformation. They won't be visitors on Mars anymore. And they won't be human anymore either. Chapter 2. Generation 1 to 2. The elongated skeleton. To understand the 5th generation, we must watch the dominoes fall from the very beginning. The first generation arrives on Mars as fully formed adults from Earth. Their bodies break down rapidly, suffering the severe osteopenia, cardiovascular shrinking, and ocular distortion caused by microgravity and low-gravity environments. When Generation 2 is conceived and carried to term in 0.38 g, the blueprint changes entirely. Without Earth's heavy gravitational pull compressing the intervertebral discs of the spine, children born on Mars will grow significantly taller than their terrestrial ancestors. Their vertebrae will stretch, separating further apart. By Generation 2, the average height of a Martian adult will push past 7 feet. But this height comes with a terrifying trade-off: bone architecture. Because the developing body doesn't need to support 180 pounds of terrestrial weight, epigenetics will turn off the signals that build dense bone tissue. Their femurs, hips, and ribs will grow long, thin, and hollow, resembling the lightweight bone structures of birds rather than heavy mammals. Their rib cages will expand dramatically. Why? Because the air inside pressurized habitats will likely be kept at lower atmospheric pressures to reduce strain on habitat airlocks, requiring larger lung capacities to draw the same amount of oxygen. They will be tall, chest-heavy, thin-limbed shadows of their ancestors. Chapter 3. Generation 3. The orange skin and giant pupils. By Generation 3, roughly 75 to 100 years into the colony's existence, the physical appearance of the population will diverge so sharply from Earth that a human from London or Tokyo would barely recognize them as the same species. Consider their skin. Earth's magnetosphere blocks harmful ultraviolet and cosmic radiation. Mars has no global magnetic field. Even inside regolith-shielded lava tubes, colonists will be exposed to significantly higher background radiation levels than anyone on Earth. How does biology respond to radiation over generations? Melanin. On Earth, melanin gives skin its brown, black, or tan pigmentation to protect against solar UV. On Mars, evolution or aggressive CRISPR genetic editing applied by colonial fertility clinics will force the skin to produce entirely new biopigments. Martian humans will likely express high concentrations of carotenoids, the same protective organic pigments found in carrots and sweet potatoes, giving their skin a distinct pale orange or bronze golden hue, capable of neutralizing radiation-induced free radicals. And then, look into their eyes. Because colonists will spend 90% of their lives inside subterranean habitats, lava tubes, and dimly lit domed structures, Generation 3 will adapt to a low-light world. Their pupils will become permanently enlarged. Over generations, natural selection will favor larger eyes, with wider irises to capture every available photon in the dim red dusk of Mars, which receives only 43% of the sunlight Earth enjoys. Chapter 4. Generation 4. The Fluid System and Muscle Death. Underneath the orange skin and elongated limbs of Generation 4 lies an internal transport system that has forgotten Earth entirely. On Earth, your heart is an industrial-grade engine. Every second of your life, it blasts blood upward against gravity to feed your brain. On Mars, pumping blood requires less than half that force. By Generation 4, the heavy, thick, muscular walls of the left ventricle will atrophy by design. The heart will shrink into a small, highly efficient light-duty pump, tailored strictly for 0.38 G. Their blood pressure will drop to levels that would cause an Earth human to pass out instantly. Their circulatory veins, no longer needing heavy-duty internal valves to prevent blood from pooling in their feet, will thin out. This creates a horrific biological trap. A fourth-generation Martian is now physically tethered to their world. If you were to place a Generation 4 Martian onto a space shuttle and bring them back to Earth, the 1.0 G gravity of their ancestral home would be instantly fatal. The moment they step into Earth's gravity, the weight of their own body would snap their porous, fragile leg bones. Their light-duty heart would fail under the sudden immense strain of trying to pull blood up from their lower body. Blood would pool instantly in their legs, starving their brain of oxygen, causing immediate loss of consciousness, catastrophic internal hemorrhaging, and organ failure within minutes. To a fourth-generation Martian, Earth isn't a paradise. It is a high-gravity death trap. Chapter 5. Generation 5, Speciation and the Immune Wall. We reach the fifth generation, 100 to 150 years after the first landing. By now, we are no longer looking at humans living on Mars. We are looking at a new species entirely, Homo Martis. Their physical baseline is locked. Height, 7 to 8 feet tall with thin bird-like bone geometry. Skin, carotenoid bronze, thick and resistant to cellular mutation. Eyes, large, dark, highly light-sensitive pupils. Lungs, massive barrel-chested torsos built for low-pressure gas exchange. And then comes the final insurmountable barrier between our two worlds, the immune system. And fifth-generation Martian has lived their entire life inside sterile, hyper-filtered, closed-loop environmental ecosystems. Their microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living on their skin and in their gut, is completely isolated from Earth's messy, chaotic biosphere. They have never encountered Earth's soil, rain, wild animals, or airborne viruses. Their immune system has evolved to target only the specific mutated fungal strains and bacterial cultures present in the Martian biodomes. If an Earth human carrying a standard, harmless terrestrial common cold virus walks into a room with a fifth-generation Martian, it would trigger the equivalent of the Black Plague. And conversely, the unique mutated bacterial strains breeding in the Martian bio-waste recyclers could devastate a visiting crew from Earth. Biologically, reproductive isolation is complete. Interbreeding between an Earth human and a Martian human would carry extreme genetic risks due to radiation-induced chromosomal mutations accumulated over a century in deep space. The two branches of humanity have officially split. The tree of life has grown a new alien limb. Chapter 6. The Great Alienation. In science fiction, we like to imagine Martian colonists looking back at Earth with nostalgia, singing ancient songs, and dreaming of blue oceans and green grass. That is the romantic delusion of Earthlings. A fifth-generation Martian will have no emotional connection to Earth. To them, Earth is a terrifying, mythical, high-gravity hellscape filled with wild, uncontrolled weather, blinding sunlight, crushing pressure, and deadly biological contaminants. They won't view themselves as lost human beings. They will view us as heavy, gravity-bound primitives trapped at the bottom of a deep planetary pit. We send our species to Mars, thinking we are going to conquer the red planet. We don't realize that Mars is the one that will conquer us. It will take our biology, strip away our Earth-born DNA, shatter our bones, stretch our flesh, and rebuild us in its own cold, red image. Earth was the cradle of humanity. But the creatures stepping out into the Martian dust will never be able to go home again.